Howdy, everybody. Welcome back one more time again to the Gumbo YaYa radio show with yours truly, Redneck. And I think we have a phone call, so let's go to the phone. Hello, who that?
This is Jan Hudson from the Fossil Creek Band.
Hey, Miss Hudson, thank you so much for checking in with us. How's folks down there in Ohio, Michigan? Is that right?
We're doing just great. It's been raining all day, but you know something, it's warm and we're taking every bit of it.
Oh, that's wonderful. You know, you can't have bluegrass without plenty of rain.
You got that right.
So let me do this. Let me let folks know. Miss Jan Hudson is with the Fossil Creek Band, and they're I guess you want to call them a bluegrass quartet, quintet. And,
it's a quintet, yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, bluegrass quintet out of Ohio, Michigan, and I've been big fans of yours for a while. I hope y'all know that, and
thank you.
And we're excited to have you on the show. So I'm not doing you any justice. Let's do this. How about each of you introduce yourselves, tell you who that, where you at, what you play, and we'll get into some music after that. How's that sound?
Okay, well, I'll just introduce you to our guitar picker. Here you go.
Hey, this is Dave. Is this Scott?
It sure is.
All right, Scott. Good to meet you.
It's my pleasure entirely. So tell folks, this is Dave, who, from where, and you play what?
This is Dave Borkowski. I'm with the Fossil Creek Band playing guitar.
All right, and who's your cohorts over there?
Well, we got Jan, Gil, Tom, and Daryl making noise and making mischief.
And so y'all are out of Northwest Ohio, right? You've been...
Yeah, correct.
And y'all been at it for how long as a group?
As this group, the core of the group, I think since about 2006. And
you're playing all over. You're doing TV and radio interviews down there. I think y'all were on WDVX. Is that right?
Yeah, we did the Blue Plate special a little while back, and we had an absolute blast doing that. We're looking forward to doing that again. Actually, here in a couple of months, we'll be heading for a little kind of a swing down through the South there, and we're hoping to pick up a few more dates. We've got a few booked already, but one of them is the Blue Plate special. Again, they've invited us back and basically left the field open for us and said, "Hey, give us a date, and we'll have you back on." So we had a great time with some folks.
Yeah, I was excited because, Ohio's not that far from New York, and I saw y'all booked all the way up through July. You stop in July, your last stop's in Ohio, and I was hoping maybe y'all were going to make it to New York.
Well, for the last couple of years, we've made it upstate. We've been up to Madrid, and then last year we made it up to, where did we go last year, upstate New York? Where was that? Oh, that was the Thousand Islands. Festival last year.
Way up there on the Canadian border, right?
Right on the St. Lawrence Seaway. We had a fantastic time, and we're hoping to make a trip up there again. We'll just kind of see how things shake out here over the next few months.
All right. Well, I know that there's 5 of you in the band, and we've talked to 3. So who's the other 2?
Hello,
who that?
Hey, it's Daryl Wagner. I'm with Fossil Creek Band playing the fiddle.
All right, we got our fiddle player checking in. And did we miss anybody?
Hi, Scott.
Hey, who's that?
My name's Tom Galbraith. I'm the mandolin player for Fossil Creek Band.
And is that everybody?
Well, you got one more yet. You got the man on the doghouse. Just got to talk yet. I'll hand it over to him. This is Gil.
All right.
Hey, this is Gil Evans from Holland, Ohio. I play the doghouse bass for Fossil Creek Band.
Mr. Gil Evans, the bass player extraordinaire. And
That's right.
Yeah, listen, so we were chatting earlier about the band and how long y'all been together, and we talked about the newbies in the band, and you happen to be one of them.
Yep. This is my second time around. I was sitting in for a little bit with the band about 4 years ago, and that was when they were starting to develop as a band. The core of the band pretty much stayed the same, with me and the new fiddle player coming on right now. And I'll tell you, the energy is phenomenal playing with Fossil Creek. It's just been amazing. Some of the music we're playing, not some of it, all of it, whether it's a ballad or if it's one of our hand or wrote songs. The energy coming off those are amazing. And for a bass player to be able to drive a band like that is just it's just perfect. It's a perfect band to be playing with.
Now, typically when people talk bluegrass, a lot of folks don't picture a bass in there. Now, are we talking upright bass? We talking electric bass?
Doghouse only. I don't even have electric bass. Yeah, no, the bass I have right now is a person when I was 30 years ago got me started playing the bass. He passed away unfortunately, and his family offered the bass to me. So my mentor for bass, I have his bass. It's a beautiful blonde bass, and no, Cleo is her name, and she's the only bass I play.
Okay, because I just wanted to clear that up for a lot of folks out there. We talked to a lot of various artists, and just wanted to make sure that there was no misunderstanding. We're not talking about Ben Robinson electric bass, that kind of thing.
No. This is an acoustic bass. It's a K bass. It's a 1954 acoustic. It's a N1B, beautiful bass, great sound. Yeah, I would rather have the inconvenience traveling with this large thing than trying to recreate that sound with electric or the new types of basses that are out there. I'd rather have that inconvenience. Because to me, that's the heart of That's really the heart of the music. Is having those instruments, having the right instruments for the right sound.
Well, let me ask you this: do you how does one become a bass player? Do you just like putting your arms around these big, heavy-set blondes? Is that it, or?
Yeah, they're the only ones that don't slap back.
There you go.
In a good way. Yeah, it was weird. My brother is a very talented musician. He plays all over the world. I mean, he's down in Florida. Ernie Evans, and he has had the Florida State Bluegrass Band. Very talented musician. We played very little, very, very young ages, the different instruments. And I would pick one up for about a year, maybe 2 years, and he'd pick it up in a week and play better than me. He's a very talented, one of those talented people. So I found that I finally got to the Doghouse bass and realized that he can't play as well as me. so I stuck with it all this time, But having the mentors I had with music, Tom Gray and Dan Lowe here in Toledo was a very famous bass player, upright bass bluegrass bass player, whose bass I have now. That's really where that came from.
All right, yeah. So sibling rivalry never goes away, huh?
No, never, never.
Well, we talked about a few of the songs on here, and I just want to let's get into some more of the music. I like the upbeat. I like that upbeat vibe that a lot of the bluegrass has. And I'm not sure if you know who Tim O'Brien is. I'm a big fan of him. Yeah, and so he covered a song, a Johnny Horton song. He did a bluegrass version. Well, I guess you'd call it bluegrass of a Johnny Horton tune that I like called "Honky Tonk Hardwood Floor."
Oh yes. Mm-hmm.
And I like that peppy stuff, and I think that's probably more of the kind of what I dig about your music. So I don't think when you're doing these tunes, the melancholy, the slow, ballad type stuff, you're not slapping the bass, you're strumming it. Do you have a preference? Is it more fun to, or it doesn't matter, or let's talk about that.
Sure. Yeah, I actually when I got into the bass, I think young people like to try to do the new things out there. And David Grisman, David Dog Grisman, I played a lot of dog music and jazz, acoustical jazz, and bluegrass. So I liked that style that he picked up with some of the bass players that he had. So throughout the years, I developed my own style with that. But to keep in with traditional bluegrass, I like running the a little different runs than most people do, straight than just the straight G, C, and D. I like to put some embellishing in there to really help drive the band. A bass can really, it's either going to make the band or it's not. And a band without a bass is not a band. And I think in certain other music too. Same with drums and jazz. I think some bands need that drum beat. If they don't have that, they don't have a band. But our music right now is even though it's the genre is bluegrass, it's really a twist of a lot of different types of genres, and I think that's what makes it really unique and what's made it so popular in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, I know you have well over 5,000 followers, and it does fit. It does fit well on the country, the bluegrass, the folk, the Americana charts. So it's y'all a little bit adulterous when it comes to your genres there, which is a good thing.
Right. Yeah, I think so. It's I do a lot of writing and stuff, and so Tim O'Brien does some wonderful writing. So that's all. So when you said his name, it was like, yeah, so you're talking about the right man. The thing with music is people have this this idea that you can't make money in bluegrass. Well, you can if you have that mindset. but you can if you look at the music and develop in your own style instead of copying the Tony Rice and whoever, those Main Street, those people. There's some people out there that can play phenomenal, but if they don't develop themselves as a musician, they'll never get hurt. But anyway, the idea of taking the same instruments that bluegrass have, the banjo, the mandolin, the guitar, and the upright bass, and fiddle, taking those instruments and looking at bluegrass and looking at different genres and styles and say, hey, what if we do this? Our band, one thing about our band is we all sit and listen to each other with the ideas that come about. So that gives us that magic that a band has. It's some bands, there's some very talented musicians out there, some amazing singers, but if they don't have that magic for a band that the band has, and if they have that one person that's just, hey, it's all about me, they're not going to make it. What our band does is we're all equals. We all put input into the music, and that, again, that's what makes us unique. We don't look at a specific way of something that starts like Tom writes a song. Everybody puts input in that song. With me, it's usually the bass runs, but then I also like to. I really love the endings of songs. I think that finish is a very important thing. So I like to try to really get as much input as I can with that.
Well, I think the camaraderie and the chemistry is kind of what you're describing here comes through, because it does seem like, it's funny. I went back and I watched the blooper reels that y'all have, and when you're having that much fun making music, it comes through, and I think my point was it shows what you're talking about. It shows there. It's good, And we talked about the upbeat bass runs and the input and the songs. One of my favorite songs off of y'all's latest album is I'm sorry, one of my favorite songs by you. I'm not sure which album it's off of, because like I said, I just have a whole bunch of MP3s. I don't have the albums. But is Old Dirt Roads. So can you tell us about that? Who did you contribute in the writing? Who wrote that? What's the story behind it?
The being a new member, the songs were already written, and they were already in the process of choreographing the music, or getting everything down. What I really brought I think to the song is that is a drive to really push that song to its limit. And that's one song that I tell you, out of all our songs, that's one of my favorite songs, because there's so much different things happening in that song. And this is one of the rare bands that when you put a CD out, your live music is so much better. Or that's a rare thing. Usually the CD is better than the band. And we are the opposite, because we're continually improving everything we do when it comes to the song. But again, it goes right back to that same thing, is we're all on a equal playing level. There's no prima donnas in the band. There's nothing like that at all.
Well, if
we all listen to each other.
Yeah, man, I'm telling you what. If you're telling me that the live show is better than the CD, then there's no reason not to go out and see you, because already when I listen to this music, I want to go out and catch the band. If you're telling me live, it is the thing to be, then man, y'all are really amazing. Thank you. I can't wait. You got to come to New York. We've mentioned that to Miss Jan and the other folks there, and so we're gonna get you all to New York. But let's do this. Let's stop talking here about the music and let's give it a play. So, if you don't mind, would you go ahead and introduce that piece of music for our listeners and for your fans, and then
Sure.
We'll come back and we'll chat with the next member. Does that work for you, Mr. Gill?
It sure does. Sure does. Hello from the Fossil Creek Band. This is Gil Evans, the bass player. This is our song, Old Dirt Road, on the Gumbo YaYa radio show.
I need you to hold my hand. I need you to hold my hand. The love will guide us from the shadows and show the way, show us the way. I want you to sing my song. I want you to sing along. Every day I know the chorus sweet harmony, sweet harmony. Old dirt roads, two-lane highways, freeway rush or city streets. Never lost when you're beside me. You're everywhere I ever wanna be. I want you to go my way. I want you to go my way. We'll chase the headlights, chase the morning, down every road, down every road. Old dirt roads, two-lane highways, freeway rush or city streets. I'm never lost when you're beside me. You're everywhere I ever wanna be. And I need you to have some faith. I need you to have some faith. A better life is out there waiting. If you believe, just believe. Old dirt roads, two-lane highways, freeway rush or city streets. I'm never lost when you're beside me. You're everywhere I ever wanna be. Yeah, you're everywhere I ever wanna be. You're everywhere I ever wanna be.
This is Tom Galbraith from the Fossil Creek Band, and this is Old Dirt Roads on Gumbo YaYa Radio.
All right, so that was Old Dirt Roads by the Fossil Creek Band. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to the Gumbo YaYa Radio Show, and we're chatting with the folks from the Fossil Creek Band or the Fossil Creek Bluegrass Band, however y'all want to find them. And let's go back to the phone and find out, hello, who that?
This is Tom.
Bluegrass tends to almost kind of be a peppy blues. You know, there's always that song about loss and heartbreak and everything that kind of just runs through the theme in a lot of bluegrass. Is this all this material something that you write together as a band? Is there one particular person who does the writing?
Well, most of the original stuff comes from either Dave Borkowski, our guitar player, or I write quite a bit of the songs as well. And Jan Hudson's got a couple songs that she's written for the band, and so we tend to write. For some reason, we tend to write separately, but occasionally we'll kind of mix things up, and we got a few songs that we wrote together.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fossil Creek Band that we're chatting with, and so y'all bear with us. We got 5 people on one phone, so we're making the best of it. So if it's not that clear, then listen to this more than once. That's the best way to go about it. All right, so you talked about the songs that Jan wrote, and I think we have Jan on the phone. So, Jan, let's talk about Carry Me Over.
Okay. Carry Me Over is a gospel song, and it was written by my late husband, who knew he was very ill, and he wrote this gospel song, and unfortunately he put it in a notebook somewhere, and when he passed away, nobody knew where it was at. I found it in a notebook, and the words were just so amazing. They were so, I guess, real, because Charlie was the kind of person that was, his family was very, very, very religious, and he was not. And so he was this regular guy who believed in God, but he didn't go to church every Sunday. And, it's like, carry me over, Lord. I've done the best I can, and I'm sorry I've messed up, but it was all my fault if I did. And, the song is a really neat song. I really like it. I think a lot of people just think, when they listen to it, they go, oh, yeah, that's me, because I'm just a regular person. And so, anyway, we put music to it, and it's done really well. It's usually in the top 50 of the most downloaded gospel bluegrass and other genre songs. So it's pretty neat.
All right. So this was actually written by your husband before he passed. Did you pen anything to it, or you just put the music to it?
I put the music to it, yes. I had no idea what the words were or anything. He told me about it when he was alive, but he never shared it with me because he ended up getting very ill. But, when I found it, it was like, okay, you could almost tell what the music was going to sound like. It he had been a bluegrass musician his entire life, so you could just read the words and go, okay, I know where this is going and stuff. So I just put the chords and everything to it, and he put the words.
All right. Well, how about this? Let's go ahead, if you don't mind, Miss Jan. Introduce the song for our listeners, and we'll give that a play.
Hi, this is Jan Hudson. I'm the banjo picker from the Fossil Creek Bluegrass Band, and this is my song, Carry Me Over, on the Gumbo YaYa radio program.
I'm coming home to face you, Lord, when my time comes to an end. Help me, Lord, to do my best so I can make it home. Carry me over, dear Lord, so I can be with you. You know I've had my ups and downs, but I always believed in you. This old world's been a little rough on me, but I take all the blame. I'm trying hard to do my best so I can make it home. Carry me over, dear Lord, so I can be with you. You know I've had my ups and downs, but I always believed in you. Carry me over, dear Lord, so I can be with you. You know I've had my ups and downs, but I've always believed in you. You know I've always believed in you.
All right, Jan, thank you so much for that song. You know, it's funny. It's funny how gospel works its way into so many different genres of music. You know.
Yeah, it sure does.
It does.
Especially bluegrass. It seems to be pretty prevalent in bluegrass music.
All right, so you know what? I want to go ahead and move on to songs from home. I like that song a lot. There's a lot of patriotic stuff out there, and most of it is in that pop country or you know, the ballad type stuff. I like the way y'all do this. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Who wrote that, and what was the inspiration?
Okay, Tom Galbraith wrote that song, and the inspiration was that his nephew had done 2 tours in Iraq and 1 in Afghanistan, and he was Skyping with his nephew one night, and the weird part about Skyping is that you can see everything that's going on, and in the middle of their conversation, all of a sudden there were bombs going off and everything, and you could see the computer going up in the air and landing on the floor, and they could see him putting on his flak jacket and grabbing his gun, and 3 hours pass and you don't have a clue what's going on. And so he started writing this song, and then he never finished the song until his nephew actually touched down in the United States and came home. And then he finished up the song because you just don't know what the end could be, and he didn't want to jinx anything. But it's one of those songs that's kind of from the view of the guy or the woman that's fighting for us. It's not always, there's a lot going on there, and it's not always fun stuff.
Well, I have friends and family in the military, and I'm so glad that that he finished this song, because it is a wonderful song. So we're going to go ahead and play that for everyone. So this is Songs from Home by the Fossil Creek Band. Y'all give this a listen, and we'll be right back.
He was on a dusty road, half the world away, on a mountain, fighting through the day. It was hard keeping warm, but easy getting lonely, and harder being there every day. But he found a way. In his mind he was sitting on a back porch, picking on an old country gentleman tune, till the sounds of the war brought him back to the mountain and the job he'd been sent there to do. But what got him through were songs from home that kept him going, reminded him what he's fighting for. Songs from home helped him knowing one day soon he'd be done with war and headed home. He was 6 months gone away from his home and family for the first time in just 2 years. The worst time was at night, when everything got quiet and the silence ringing in his ears made him face his fears. Will I ever make it home? Could this day be my last? Am I different from what I've seen and done? Will these nightmares go away when I get home to stay? Or will they haunt me till my dying day? I really couldn't say. But songs from home kept him going, reminded him what he's fighting for. Songs from home, it helped him knowing one day soon he'd be done with war and headed home. The first 2 times were tough. This time was enough. You can't watch your kids grow up so far away. He's proud to serve his land, and he'd do it all again. But it's time to trade his gun for an old guitar and songs from home. Songs from home kept him going, reminded him what he's fighting for. Songs from home, it helped him knowing one day soon he'd be done with war and headed home.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Songs from Home by the Fossil Creek Bluegrass Band, and we're on the phone with the newest member, Mr. Darrell. Mr. Darrell, how are you doing?
I'm doing good tonight. How are you?
I'm doing fine. Listen, I really like the music. I've been a fan of them for a long time. You're the newest member there, a couple months, right?
Yes, I am.
And so how did you end up a part of the Fossil Creek Band? Where did you come from? Who did they steal you from? Fill the folks in that are...
I've been on a music hiatus for about 7 years. I haven't been playing with anybody at all, and just started to get back into it. Got hooked up with these guys, and have been having a ball ever since.
So you're keeping better company these days, so to speak.
Yes, sir, I am.
And so you play the fiddle, right?
I do play the fiddle.
And speaking of keeping better company, that's one of the songs that I like there. What's it like? Was that an established piece of music before you came to the band, or were you part of the writing process?
It was already established. As a matter of fact, when I actually thought I was coming in to just meet up with some guys and do a little bit of jamming, and I walked in, did a little bit of jamming, and they handed me a couple CDs and a list of songs that was 2 pages long. And I was like, whoa, what's going on? But it's just been a ride and a blast ever since.
All right. Well, do me a favor, Darrell. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play that for our listeners. So if you be so kind as to introduce that song for the listeners, and we'll give that a play, and we'll pass the phone and chat some more. How's that sound?
Sounds good. Hey, this is Darrell Wagner from the Fossil Creek Band, and this is Keeping Better Company on the Gumbo YaYa radio.
Darling, I was hoping you would answer. I don't want to talk to this machine. It seems I got no choice. It's still nice to hear your voice. I'll try to keep this brief. I always knew you'd be a heartbreak, and I had nothing that you need. You're not home tonight, you're probably out to prove me right. Keeping better company. Looking at our history, it's funny I could never see you never were the one for me. So I'm hanging up, not hanging on, I'm letting go. Won't be long till I'm keeping better company. Yesterday morning when I drove by, I saw the truck parked in your drive, packed up with all your things. Well, just the thought of that brings these tears to my eyes. So I pulled over by the stop sign. I slipped my mind into reverse, but then that little voice reminded me you made a choice, and I wasn't your first. Looking at our history, it's funny I could never see you never were the one for me. So I'm hanging up, not hanging on, I'm letting go. Won't be long till I'm keeping better company. Looking at our history, it's funny I could never see you never were the one for me. So I'm hanging up, not hanging on, I'm letting go, moving on. I guess it's time to set you free. So darling, don't be calling me when you wake up alone. I'll be keeping better company.
All right, man. And you know what? I like that song a lot. I feel like I am keeping better company. We got a fine bunch of talented musicians out of Northwest Ohio, Southeast Michigan. They're nestled in the corner, I guess, of bluegrass country, if you want to call it that. It's some great music, and it's the Fossil Creek Band. So we appreciate them being with us. And we have Daryl on the phone. Daryl's the newest member, and he wandered in to a set list a mile long and been fiddling tunes like the one we just heard. Now, Daryl, now that you're been there for a couple months, you're doing the tour thing. What's next for you? Are you guys headed down to New York or what?
We're going down to Knoxville, coming up here in a little bit. Then we're going down to St. Augustine, Florida, and probably a few stops in between there.
All right, so Daryl, you took a break for 7 years, and now you're touring. Is this what everything you were expecting to walk into, or is this just something totally new for you?
Actually, I didn't expect to walk into it at all. But like I say, it's been a blast. It's been fun. Good group of people, good music. It's just nice getting back into it.
Well, we're glad that you're part of the group because the music is wonderful. And let's go on with some more wonderful music. We got Dave from the Fossil Creek Band on the phone with us now, Dave, right?
Yes, you got me. You got me.
All right, Dave, thank you so much. Now tell folks, remind them one more time, what do you do for them, for the group?
I play guitar for the Fossil Creek Band. I've been with them since roughly 2006.
You've been with them since '06, so then you're familiar with the tune Blanket of Stars.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I like that.
Indeed.
I like. I'm gonna keep saying this over and over. I like it all. I'm gonna stop telling you I like it. We wouldn't be chatting if I didn't like it. So let's talk. Blanket of Stars. Fill folks in. I want you to tell people about that tune. All right, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. And you know what? I'm telling it sort of in the third person. That was written by Tom, our mandolin player and main vocalist. He and his wife were traveling up in around the lakeshore, northern Michigan, and they happened to be walking along the dunes. And for anybody who's ever been up north and seen that on a nice, clear, cool night along Lake Michigan in the dunes, it is absolutely it's amazing. It can be a religious experience. And Tom looked up and just said, "My gosh, I've never seen so many stars." It was just like the light from the stars just blanketed him, and so it just sort of got the wheels turning, and he really liked the feeling that it gave him, and it inspired him to just try and get that feeling into words, which, we all know, we've all seen things in our lives that have, that we can't really explain or we can't really describe how they made us feel, but that's just kind of Tom's attempt to do that in a song, and I think he did a pretty nice job. We all got the point, so we're hoping folks will hear the song out there, and they'll get the point too, and they realize what an experience he had, Well,
I think they will, and I guess kind of paraphrasing, for me, it seems like that's one of those songs that writes themselves, and I like it. Go ahead.
Tom actually, he actually did say that yeah, it did sort of write itself.
All right. Well,
So
like
that's,
you said, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Say that one more time.
Like Tom said, it did sort of write itself because he was just so overcome with just the sight of it all, And when you look up, and when there's no light pollution, you look up and you see millions of stars. It does make you feel maybe a tad insignificant, and you realize that you're not the be all and end all. It makes you kind of feel small, and it makes you take stock of things, and it really brings forth some pretty strong emotions, I think.
Well, I think let's bring those emotions to our listeners. So if you don't mind, go ahead and introduce that song for our fans, and we'll give it a play.
All right. Hey, this is Dave, guitar player for the Fossil Creek Band, and you're going to hear Blanket of Stars.
On a cold, clear night out in the darkness, before that new moon starts to rise, with no ceiling of clouds to block the heavens, a million stars fill up my eyes, and it feels like I can touch forever, even though I know it's hard to hold. There's comfort in the stars for restless hearts like ours, a warm, soft blanket round my soul. When things of this world weigh heavy on me, and peaceful quiet's hard to find, I make my way out to a hillside where silence and starlight ease my mind, till it feels like I can touch forever, even though I know it's hard to hold. There's comfort in the stars for restless hearts like ours, a warm, soft blanket round my soul. As I grow older, I find myself obsessing over things in life I've yet to do. So while I'm sitting with the stars, I ask a blessing from the one who's always seen me through, till it feels like I can touch forever, and for a moment it's something I can hold. There's comfort in the stars for restless hearts like ours, a warm, soft blanket round my soul.
All right, you know what? I'm going to have to play that one more time. I really like that song a lot. Thank you so much for joining us here. I know that y'all have a rehearsal session to get to, and you got some picking and grinning to do. So we're gonna let you go real soon. But
All right.
But before we do, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. And let's make sure that we do this. Whoever is a spokesperson out there for the band, want to put them on the phone and have them tell folks where they can find your music, give them your website, the music sites that you're on, and make sure that anytime y'all go anywhere or do anything, let us know so that we can promote you as well. We're big fans of yours, and we love what you do.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much, Scott. We really, really appreciate you and appreciate all the folks out there listening. So I'm going to turn it over to Tom, and he'll give you all the pertinence where you can reach us and find our music.
Much obliged.
Hi, Scott.
All right, Tom, so let's do this. We're going to let you go, but before we do, let's tell folks where they can find your music. Let's give them the website, and let's tell them as well as whatever music sites you're available on.
Okay, you can find Fossil Creek Band at our website at fossilcreekbluegrass.com. We're on Facebook, the Fossil Creek Band, Also, Fossil Creek Bluegrass. We actually have two sites that are kind of combined, so you can find us there. Our email address, if somebody wants to get in contact with us, is the Fossil Creek Band at yahoo.com. So we're out on the airwaves someplace, and they can find us.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was the Fossil Creek Band. We appreciate y'all checking in with us. And remember, folks, hug your friends, kiss your family, thank the Lord. Keep on listening to the Gumbo YaYa radio show now, you hear? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was the Fossil Creek Band here on the Gumbo YaYa radio show. We appreciate y'all checking in. Remember, folks, hug your friends, kiss your family, and thank the Lord. Y'all keep listening to the Gumbo YaYa.